Dr. Jung. To get started, please, the floor is yours. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you, and I hope that we can meet face to face soon and talk to one another. A challenging year lies behind us, but also a year full of opportunities. At Festo, we have seen that basically overnight we were able to change to digital formats. Trainings, customer visits have taken place during the lockdown, also technical support and remote maintenance of plants at our customers. So we are ready to get started. Our digital customers journey is a very smooth transition. We have our online business, and by 2025, we are going to have 1/3 of our sales coming from this area. Festo is in a very stable economic position, and during the pandemic has done a great job. In 2020, the group, because of the pandemic, has shown a decrease of 7.5% with regard to sales, 2.84 billion euros turnover, and the year before it was 3.5 billion euros. But because of savings, also securing our jobs in 2020, we were able to have an operating result that is a bit above the year before. And with that, we've been able to get our employees safely through the crisis and have created a good basis for being able to be active again in this economic climate. It also gives us economic leeway to also invest in our future. Our R&D rate is at 8%, just like the previous year. In the last few years, in Europe and also in the growth regions of North America and Asia, we've been able to invest, and this is something that now pays off. So we have a local for local approach, and this means that we have stable supply chains. In North America, our turnover in 2020 was only a bit below the previous year. There were positive developments in our Asian cluster, especially in Greater China, and also in our partner country, Indonesia, and also in Korea and Japan. With that, the weak economy in Europe and in Germany in particular could be compensated for in part. Our new strategy 2025 is being implemented with full strength, and we invest in our future with this strategy, in growth and performance, in innovation and future markets, in digitization and artificial intelligence, as well as sustainability. Digitization and IA have characterized our products and our roadmaps and are enablers for energy efficiency and sustainability for customer solutions. We also focus on the capability shift, which means training our employees in the field of digital formats. With future-proof concepts, we set ourselves up for the future. Also, when it comes to different lines of industry, we also focus on future markets. The structural change in many areas is something that we can actually feel. We can especially feel that in the traditional automotive sector. We've seen a huge decline here. On the other way, electrification in the automotive industry is increasing. About 70% of the top automotive projects in 2020 had to do with electrification or battery production. So for the next few years, this offers great opportunities for growth. This starts with the production and assembly of batteries to the electric drivetrain, as well as the production of vehicle electronics in the field of classical automotive manufacturing. The electrification poses new challenges to our employees. A qualification shift is necessary towards electronics, and software competence. This is something that we have to cope with, just like many other companies in this field. And we use Festo Didactic to do that. We offer qualification in the whole field of electrification. And this is something that is not only positive for us, but also for other companies. And with that, we sustainably support the structural change in many lines of industry, of course, also in the automotive industry. Another growth sector is the electronics industry for Festo. Electronics is something that we can find basically in all areas and all lines of industry. Vehicle electronics is something that I've already mentioned, but you can basically look at any other lines of industry, be it semiconductors, be it consumer electronics, smartphone production. All of these products need electronics. We have different applications to do that. Electronics industry also has proven to be quite stable in the course of the corona crisis. In 2020, our turnover was only a little bit below the one the previous year. Lifetech also proves to be an important business. Here we have growth rates of more than 100%. With our products, we make an important contribution to fight the pandemic. Our piezo valves are used, for example, in respirators, and we also can produce with them ventilation equipment and also masks. And with that, we make an important contribution. Also, our lab automation makes it possible to achieve a high throughput when it comes to COVID-19 tests, but also in the field of vaccine production, where automation is key. COVID-19 is only one of various examples, and it shows us that the automation creates the preconditions so that people worldwide can be tested and be supplied all over the world, be it when it comes to medicines and vaccines or be it in the field of medical equipment. We assume that this trend toward LOHAS, as it is called, is going to increase lifetime health and sustainability. This is a trend that we believe is going to increase. This is why our segment LifeTech is going to be expanded in the years to come. It is very important to focus on our location in Boston, where in 2018 we have set up our own engineering center, and with that have created excellent preconditions to further tap into this market. Another important growth market is a technical training. Homeschooling and virtual trainings is something where we can see huge demand during the pandemic. The same is true when it comes to trainings in the field of digitization, sustainability, energy efficiency, and electrification. These are trends that Festo Didactic has identified early on and provides training, virtual trainings, but also the setup for the training equipment. We also think that we have a social responsibility. Homeschooling plays an important role at the moment. Usually, mechatronics training takes place in classes, in labs, and because of the development of a software, our MacLab platform, we've been able to give out 6,500 free of charge licenses for homeschooling, and with that, make our contribution. Didactic, during the lockdown, has set up a digital platform, Festo LX, to provide training. This digital training platform is something where we can see a lot of demand. Learning experience is something that people really need. We assume that in 5 years, a 1 in 2 trainings is going to take place in a digital format, and this is why we believe digital education is a field that we should focus on. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see that Festo is a sustainable company and is oriented towards the future. And I'm also delighted to announce that internally, when it comes to climate neutrality, we've been able to make progress. Or to put it differently, it is our target to save 30% of CO2 by 2025. And the biggest lever is in this field when we focus on our products. More than 90% of the CO2 emissions take place at the customers in their plants. So it is really important to focus on the products that we offer and that we have all different sorts of products in our portfolio, pneumatic ones, for example. We focus on digitization and AI, and energy efficiency also plays an important role. At Festo, we do believe that when it comes to pneumatics, that there is a huge future ahead of it and that it offers advantages compared to electrics. No other technology can do that because it's robust, it is simple, and it's cost efficient. And this is something that you need in the automation industry. In particular, when it comes to fast product changes in the plants, this is something that our customers can achieve easily with our pneumatic solutions. We are developing this further in the field of digital pneumatics, and we believe that there is a huge potential ahead. the partner country of Hanover Trade Fair, Indonesia, also focuses on education and digitization. And Festo is a company that offers both and helps when it comes to the implementation. For more than 30 years, we have our own subsidiary in Indonesia, and we support the competitiveness of different lines of industry there, be it foodstuff or be it textile industry, pharmaceutical industry, or the electronics industry. We are a strong partner in the framework of the government program Making Indonesia 4.0. Qualification of teachers in different types of schools and universities plays an important role for us. Our Indonesian colleagues have prepared a highlight for the trade fair. They have taken the traditional Indonesian musical instrument and have set it up here. It is operated by a Festo fluidic muscle. We have fast switching valves, we have a control system, and we are able to play songs with it. And I'm going to demonstrate that later on. And this brings us to the outlook for 2021. We believe that 2021 is a year to catch up. Our first quarter was very strong, and I can tell you that I see this in a very optimistic way. I believe this is going to continue. There is good impetus coming from the electronics industry in Asia, in particular from China, and many other Asian markets are catching up and recovering from the pandemic, and also the US is on a good path, and the same is also true for our training segment. The automotive sector, we believe, is also going to recover and is going to keep up the momentum with e-mobility. And we also see further areas of growth. But of course, the pandemic is going to have an impact in 2021 as well. At the same time, we are making further investments to pursue our strategy 2025 for innovation and growth and sustainability. What you can see here is one of our bionic swallows. And you can see that it is characterized by energy efficiency. It is a very lightweight. It offers state-of-the-art control systems. And you can see here that we use carbon for the wings, for the plumage. It is similar to real birds. And you're going to hear more about that after our press conference in our presentation on bionics given by my colleague. And I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jung. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon at 2 p.m., at 2:30 p.m., we will have a bionics presentation at Hanover Fair, or the digital edition of the fair. So we're going to have a live demonstration there. So I think this will be very exciting and interesting for you. And now I would like to hand over, as every year, to Dr. Kriwet, Head of Sales. And he is now going to show you what we have on display. So Dr. Kriwet, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Dr. Franzek. Ladies and gentlemen, the coronavirus pandemic has shaken us for more than a year now, and industrial production has also been suffering from various challenges and restrictions. So think back to the beginning of the pandemic more than 1 year ago, and the hygienic concepts that had to be implemented and the distances that had to be kept. Sometimes also the operational processes had to be structured, the shifts had to be separated, and the cafeteria management had to be changed. And at the same time, there was also a high unplanned demand for individual products. For example, in medical engineering at the beginning of the pandemic, we needed respiratory equipment. And there was also a need for new valves and precision controllers and control units for the respiratory equipment. Then the face masks were in demand. And currently, of course, it's the production of testing sets and vaccines. So Festo was involved closely in all of these processes. At the beginning of the first wave, we worked together with institutes and companies to make sure that we can provide affordable emergency respiratory kits for the hospitals. And then we come work together with mechanical engineering companies, for example, a Berlin company for respiratory equipment and face masks. And we even integrated this into an overseas container such that the container can be transported to the point of use and start production for the face mask immediately. And we also are automating laboratories for testing kit production and also vaccines. We work together with BioNTech, for example. So the production facilities have been optimized with new equipment to make sure that they can ensure smooth operation with a high output. So you can see that automation is extremely important to make sure that there is a reliable production under these extreme conditions. So automation is like a vaccine for industrial production. It makes it more reliable and more robust. Speaking about robustness, in many European companies, reliability of the global supply chains was a big concern in European companies. In India, there might be a lockdown and a closing down of a factory of a supplier, or you have problem with containers, and this is why you also have a standstill in Europe. So this is why many companies are now thinking about bringing the production back to Europe to make the supply chain shorter and more robust. Of course, this can only be achieved through automation too, because you want to still be competitive even though you are producing in a high wage company. So automation is the key again. In Festo, this is something that we have been working with for many years. It's called local for local. So this means in all of the big regions in the world, in Asia, in Europe, and the Americas, we try to produce just as much as we need in the market. So this has many advantages. The speed, for example, because our customers, of course, want short supply or delivery times, and this works better if you're on the ground. We're also cost reduction because of reduced transportation costs and so on. And of course, also the fact that if we produce in the company, we're also independent of currency fluctuations because we do everything on the ground. So all of these things are very important for us. And this is why we are focusing on local for local a lot. A trend that we can also see during the coronavirus pandemic is a stronger flexibilization of facilities. And I think this is based on the wish of people, of individuals, especially during lockdown, to focus on their individuality, because they don't want to have a ready-made product anymore. Everyone wants a customized, individualized product configured to their needs, but still it needs to be produced in a competitive manner. And this requires a lot of flexibility in production technology. And this is something where we have a lot of expertise. And this is why at Hannover Fair, we have our productivity master on display. And we can show how efficient production is possible with small batch sizes, and it can still be efficient. So we use the flash drives as an example here. So the customer has the opportunity to configure and customize their flash drive. They enter their personal data, and of course, everything is secured according to the German data privacy laws. It is secured in the cloud, and then it's used to individually design this flash drive and configure it to their needs, and also store the data on them that the customer needs. And the requirement that we have here is that the production of these very, very small batch sizes still needs to be efficient and competitive. So Festo uses its entire portfolio of automation technology in this setup, and we can demonstrate that efficient production is also possible for very, very small batch sizes. What we also found is that our customers during the pandemic have also been focusing more and more on ecologies. So the vulnerability of our ecological systems is something that more and more people are aware of. So this is why we also try to reduce our ecological footprint, and our customers want to do that too. And that's very important for Festo. Of course, first of all, it has something to do with the energy consumption of our products. So we try to increase the efficiencies of our motors, for example, or we try to reduce the air supply to our pneumatic system. But it also has to do with the right choice of products. And this is why we have consultancy offer and also service offer to our customers. And currently we are working on a software solution where the customer can just enter their task, and then they have the opportunity to look at various solutions. So the software proposes pneumatic and electrical solutions, and the customer can then see what the cost is for the total life cycle, but also what the ecological footprint is, so the CO2 footprint of the solution for the entire product life cycle. And then they can make a qualified decision on what's the best solution for their application. One of the consequences of this ecological focus is also immobility. At Festo, we saw clearly that last year, more than 70% of our big automotive projects had to do with immobility. So immobility is a technology that, of course, changes manufacturing processes strongly, because in the past you had these metal cutting processes, and now you have electrochemical processes because they are needed for the battery production, or the new assembly processes that you need to install the packs or the motors and the high voltage supply lines in the car. Now, let me give you an example. Let's take this battery cell. This battery cell is a very valuable, high-value component, of course. So we know that in an e-car, the battery is the biggest cost factor. And this means that you really have to handle it carefully in the manufacturing processes. To give you an example, one Festo gripper that handles these battery cells and installs them, it moves a product value of 250 million euros within 1 year. So this means you need the highest reliability and process stability in this. There are also other requirements in cell production, for example. There is the need to be free from non-ferrous metals. So Festo has optimized a big part of its portfolio for battery production to have the right offers for that application. So all of these technological developments, ladies and gentlemen, require a further development of our staff too, and for the training of our staff. So we need to invest in qualification and the lifelong learning of our employees. And of course, this is very dear to us. You know that Festo Didactic is the world market leader in the field of industrial training and further education. And especially in the coronavirus crisis, we have now come up with our Festo Learning Experience, or Festo LX platform. It's a platform where all of our automation knowledge is made available to you, such that the customer can either go to a virtual classroom or combine a real and virtual classroom to use the automation knowledge of Festo. Ladies and gentlemen, let me summarize. The coronavirus pandemic is, of course, a challenge for manufacturing companies, but also for Festo, but it's also a big opportunity, and we are benefiting from it too. So, of course, there are challenges because we have high volumes, we need flexible production, and we also have a bigger focus on ecology. And this is something we have been focusing on to support our customers to increase the productivity of their systems. And qualification of staff is also very important, because without qualified staff, you cannot make any progress in quality and productivity. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to present the Angklum to you. It's a traditional musical instrument in Southeastern Asia. It is made from bamboo, and the sound is created by lateral shaking, and the pins of the bodies will push against the pipes, and then the sound is created.
So what you can see here is the Indonesian musical instrument Angklum. This is a traditional Indonesian musical instrument. You can see these pipes made of bamboo, and they do create individual sounds. So usually there would be several people in one row producing individual sounds. So our Indonesian colleagues came up with the idea to produce this traditional instrument and automate it with faster technologies. We have fast switching valves. We have within the musical instrument the fluidic muscle from Festo, and we also have a control unit, of course. And we also have electrically operated motors, and we're going to present to you Longing for Spring. Enjoy. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Jung, for presenting the Angklum to you. Dr. Kriwet, thank you very much for your presentation here at this virtual trade fair in Esslingen for the digital format of the Hanover Trade Fair.